Curtis, final weekend of the season, and I guess it's all about playing games that matter at this stage, and that's what you'll be doing on Sunday.
Yeah, I think when the fixtures came out at the start of the season, we all thought this fixture might have something on it. We were hoping it would be for the top two, if we're being totally honest. But it isn't to be, but we still have something to play for. We're in the playoff positions ourselves. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday have secured their place in third. But it's a game we look forward to. I think when you're going to go into the playoffs, potentially we could play Sheffield Wednesday if we do make it there. You need to be able to beat good teams or to be able to play against good teams and compete against good teams. So we'll go up there after what I believe was a good performance against Portsmouth, bar, maybe 6-7 minutes after them scoring their goal. But yeah, we're ready to go and we're raring to go.
There are all sorts of permutations. If you do this, then Peter will need to do that, and etc., etc. Are you trying to not think about those?
I think you need to take it that it's in our hands. So you want to go there, you want to win the game. You want to win the game first and foremost to secure your playoff spot. The second is that if you were to get there and play Sheffield Wednesday, would it be a marker? Would it be a psychological boost? You don't know. But ultimately, you want to step into the playoffs with a winning mentality. So I think that's an important message. It is easy to say, what's happening at Barnsley? Oh, they're losing. Oh, let's just protect ourselves and sit in. And you can't do that because then you need to play a game in 6 days later again. So I think it's important to make sure that we're doing what we do. We perform to our very best. Because I think if ever you approach a game to either just draw a game or to consolidate, I think it's always a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, it's a fascinating game because of all the potential scenarios surrounding it and everything like that. What about Sheffield Wednesday in the season that they've had? No one's ever amassed the number of points that they have and not won automatic promotion before.
There'll be. I don't really know in terms of in camp. I know Darren Moore personally. I know a few of the players personally, of course. But in terms of in camp, I'd be interested to know how they're feeling. Is it a case of that's gone now, so we've got one focus and that's it? We need to pick ourselves up and go and win the playoffs because we still have another opportunity, or will their heads be down and disappointed that they got that close but haven't made it? But ultimately, there were two other very good teams that finished above them, and rightly so. So I think there will be an element of frustration, but I think they'll, especially in their last home game of the regular season, they want to come and show just how good they are, and particularly against a side like us, they won't want to give us any joy to take into the playoffs if we do make it.
You look back 2 years to the final day of the Championship season and that game at an empty Pride Park, that ridiculous game against Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously the stakes and everything is very different now, but I just wonder how you sort of look back on that game a couple of years on.
It was a strange one because, again, the way my role kind of come up was obviously very random in the fact that I was having a chat with a gaffer in terms of Wayne and said that I'd be ready for him 10 minutes either end of the pitch if he needs me. I was serious, but I didn't think he would take me seriously, and he said, do you really think so? And I said yes, and he obviously fought on it. I ended up being on the bench, and then obviously through all the madness, I thought I was going to be coming on up front at one point, but then we got a penalty, Waggy scores, and then I end up coming on in my position and seeing the game out. But for me, it was an emotional roller coaster because having watched from the sideline for so long, from coming back from my Achilles, you are emotionally invested, but you don't have that intensity of I might have to affect the game. But that day, because you're sat on the side, so I hear directly, oh, Rotherham have scored, or Cardiff have scored, or whatever it was difficult. And I'm knowing that I'm warming up pretty much the whole of the second half because I want to stay warm, stay loose. And I don't know if I'm coming on up front, I don't know if I'm coming on at the back, I don't know if I'm coming on at all. And it was just an emotional thing for me, but it's also, I'm thinking this could be the last time I step out in a Derby shirt as well, in front of an empty stadium. So for me, it was a tough mental thing. But once I got on the pitch, I said to you before, that was my utopia. I felt calm, I felt fine because I know what to do there. Whereas handling, I guess, the baggage of everything else that's going on sometimes when you haven't been in it for so long was difficult to take. But yeah, I felt calm when I got on the pitch, and then once the whistle went again, it was an air of relief that the club had stayed up, but then reverted back to, this might be my last time on the pitch, and a few tears were shed and stuff like that, but fortunately I was able to come back next season and help the club again.
Yeah, and I love that story and the way it sort of encapsulates your approach, and you'll do whatever it takes sort of for the team to succeed. How have you seen the group change over the course of the season?
I think it was just a case of, as people, I think it was an easy transition. So literally when they came in the door, it was like they've been here for years. The groups of players that we signed were not only experienced, good players, they're all good people. A lot of us knew each other. So in terms of when you're trying to integrate people into the team, there's no one that, listen, it's not a group that leaves anyone out, but he knows him from there and he knows him from there, and there's always a connection. So I think that was quite an easy transition. I think the group has grown and, like I say, coming together stronger, knowing what each other's strengths are better. So on the pitch, we know, right, yes, we do want to play that pass, but is he the right man to play the pass to at that time? Is he the right man to play the pass in behind to? It's knowing each other's strengths and getting to know the team, because once you get that, and fair play to us, because we did have obviously 20 new players come in the summer, I think we've done well to get where we were. Yeah.